Mr. Mollah, here is Supreme Court that's coming down heavy on Nupur Sharma at this point. They've already set the tone, it looks like, on the way respective state governments must take this case forward. She will now be left to deal with her legal battles at respective state governments, beg your pardon, respective high courts in local states. How do you see this with the Supreme Court for the first time explicitly wording out what they think of what Nupur Sharma has done?
This is a very positive and encouraging judgment, because from the day one we are insisting a person, a culprit whose utterances created national disaster, law and order problem, movement, burning of property, loss of property, hatred among communities. So many disturbing incidents happen because of this blasphemous statement of person. But that person is still moving freely. It is unfortunate the government is protecting him. BJP is protecting her. This is a culprit. When some culprit spread venom and entire society become poisonous, immediately that should be stopped, checked, and punished according to law. But the government failed to take any action, protecting her from being arrested or from being any other action. Then Supreme Court has given correct direction. I think that should be obeyed by different state governments and high courts so that culprit can be punished.
No, when you say punished, at this point, we see that there are many people, for that matter, who make derogatory comments against various religions, even for that matter, Hindu gods. So many comments that come up from people that never are pulled up. So targeting Nupur Sharma at this point, of course, apart from what the Supreme Court has said, how would you look at this case objectively? There are people who make comments on a regular basis on social media and otherwise. Do you think that Nupur Sharma, only because she held the responsibility of being the BJP spokesperson, is now being pulled up?
I tell you, unfortunately, there are hundreds of comments and derogatory comments against Mahatma Gandhiji and praise with his killer. But nobody is taking note of that. This will deteriorate the culture of our country.
So this is almost an example set with the Supreme Court taking this matter so strictly and making such strong observations. Do you think Supreme Court is setting the tone at this point against anyone who wants to make speech, who wants to speak on these lines, defamatory, derogatory comments being made against someone's religion, etc.? This is almost cracking a whip and saying it's not acceptable.
Yes, I think it will work a deterrence to the people. When utters any statement, he will be make it responsible. We have every right to criticize everybody, but not to derogate, not to defame. So this guideline, I think, will have an effect on the people, a public statement, and be careful that our cultural ethos or honor of the person, and community and religion, everything are not hurt.
Right. You know, Mr. Mollah, the kind of threats that are coming her way, you know, even at this point, we saw what happened in Udaipur, and that leaves us shell-shocked. People taking law into their own hands. Nupur Sharma very rightly says that she's receiving threats to her life, and one can't help but believe her. Because the man who supported Nupur Sharma, a mere support message that he put on his social media platform, resulted in his fatal end. He was murdered brutally by two Muslim men. And this kind of anger that prevails among certain communities, how do you look at that? Do you, of course, condemn it? I'm sure you do. But how would you look at that? How should that be dealt with? Can you really blame Nupur Sharma entirely for that? For someone murdering someone?
That should be very strongly by the law and order giving machinery. That is necessary. Those type of action, killing, nobody has to kill anybody for any type of any crime. They should be punished strictly. Like that is from the day one we are saying that anybody who takes the order in their hand and commits such misdeeds must be sternly dealt with and will be punished according to law. But according to law, the criminal who created this problem for the country, that also should not be ignored.
All right. Mr. Mollah, you know, we know that the people across the country right now are debating on whether or not Nupur Sharma made a comment that was already written in the text, in the books. And if at all it is already written, and if it is established, what she said may be true or may be false. Do you think, how would you counter that? You know, people saying that she may have just quoted what was already there. What's wrong in that?
What wrong? You consider you person with a understanding of the culture or history or constitutional or right of the persons or the opinion. You know about the blasphemy. On the basis of that, you consider asking me why you are not people ask why Jubair is booked because of crime of others. Only he mentioned that such crime was committed. Why is the journalist under bar and he is suffering all this repression, and the criminal outside is moving freely?
No, according to you, she has committed blasphemy. That's what you say strongly.
Definitely.